You're right, welcome back. Now, you might have heard of the Great Fire of London, but how much do you really know about it? You might imagine a couple of houses on fire, people blame it on the devil, and then a couple of buckets of water later, and they all have a good laugh about it in the pub. Fun times. But random, was it really that bad? Yeah, of course it was bad. Look, it was 1666. There were no fire departments and literally everything was made of wood. The Great Fire of London was devastating. It lasted for 4 days and it nearly destroyed the capital. So, London in the 17th century was a disaster waiting to happen. It had narrow streets, houses would lean onto each other like drunk girls on a night out, and they had flammable stuff just hanging from the buildings. On top of that, it had been a long, hot, dry summer with barely any rain. Yep, 1666, the last time England had a genuine summer. The fire started in a bakery on Pudding Lane, which is the funniest name ever for a street. In fact, the name Pudding Lane makes it sound so harmless. It's hard to imagine that one of the greatest disasters in English history came from a place called Pudding Lane. Anyway, suddenly there were flames everywhere. Right, so the fire itself wasn't the problem. The big problem was that London was simply not prepared to deal with a fire. Modern cities are designed to prevent fires. Buildings are made out of brick and at a certain distance apart from each other. We have fire exits, and you can call the fire department and they will come in minutes. In 1666, the firefighting technology was, mate, have you got a bucket and some water? The main tactic, right, was to pull down buildings in the fire's path. Now, this would ensure that the fire would not spread past a certain point, and you could just basically wait for it to go out. Right, so that's not a bad idea. I mean, it's bad for the people whose houses you have to destroy, and I'm not exactly sure if house insurance was a thing back then. Oh, for God's sake. Right, so I checked it out and no, house insurance was not a thing at the time. But funny enough, right, the Great Fire of London is the reason that house insurance became a thing. So yeah, aren't you glad that I checked on that, eh? See, this is the kind of service I like to provide for you, my audience. Subscribe. Right, so anyway, if all they had to do, right, was pull down a few buildings in the area, why did the fire become such a disaster? Well, this gets us to Sir Thomas Bloodworth. Right, Thomas is an interesting character as he served as Lord Mayor of London while simultaneously being the town fool. Right, that's really impressive when you think about it. Thomas took one look at the fire and said, and I quote, "A woman could piss it out." Yep, nice one, Thomas. The fire quickly spread across 436 acres, burning down over 13,000 houses, 87 churches, including St. Paul's Cathedral, and much of central London within the old Roman walls. This left about 70,000 people homeless in a time before insurance. Right, but did they even try a woman pissing on it? I'm just saying. The official death toll was 6 people. Wait, 6 people? That seems really low when you think about it. Alright, so look, it could have been worse, eh? Thank you for watching and have a great day.